All right.
Okay, you said second.
Thank you all for coming out to our December general meeting. We'll go ahead and get started. I know we a few minutes behind time, but we'll catch up quickly. So I am the president and we'll call of the Gwinnett NACP. And like we do before every meeting, we just have a brief moment of silence so that way if anybody want to pray, have a reset, we can do so at this time. All right, thank you all for that. So as always, I want to acknowledge some of our executive committee members that are attending tonight's meeting. So we do got our EXO chair, Shantae Stroud of our EXO committee. We have our health, committee, Mr. Camille Deweese. I think that's all I see so far. The rest I'm sure gonna drag in a minute. So at this time, we're gonna get started with our committee reports. So one of y'all ready between you and Shantae. Let y'all go. Are you ready? All right, so our health committee chair Deweese is ready, so I'll let him come on up and give us a little bit on the health.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. My name is Gamel Deweese. I am the chair for the Health and Wellness Committee at the NAACP. We're going to start the reading off for the report that we had on November. Opening meeting with introductions, a moment of reflection, review and approval of previous minutes, updates on the upcoming Red Cross Drive, discussion of health screenings and logistics, legislative updates on mental disparities, community action items, planning for mental health initiatives, and scheduling of the next meeting. Roll call was conducted, including introductions of new members. October minutes were approved with a motion by President Paul and second by Dr. Tidwell. The motion was accepted unanimously. Upcoming event, Red Cross Blood Drive, March 28, 2026. The event will be held at Hopewell Baptist Church. Target donation goal is set by 20 to 30 pints. Volunteer roles include donor, escorting, comfort, support, refreshments, and wellness service. Additional screenings considered blood pressure and glucose checks. Marketing strategies include flyers, email distribution, outreach, and community partners, and engagement with the local churches or religious houses. Discussion includes signage needs, volunteer placement for traffic flow, in coordination with Red Cross expectations. Health screenings and follow-up capacity. Dr. Tidwell raised the importance of follow-up procedures for any health screening conducted at the event. Committee discussed ensuring that any vendor or partner must have the ability to accept insurance or offer free follow-up services. Legislative updates and mental health disparities. Dr. Tidwell presented a detailed overview of national mental health legislation 988, crisis response, improvements, and trends affecting Georgia. Gwinnett-specific issues were highlighted, including challenges around involuntary commitment, rules, and provider shortages. The committee emphasized continued tracking of mental health legislation relevant to crisis teams, 988 funding, and the community-based supports. President Paul reviewed the National NAACP's $20,000 grant supporting countywide health initiatives. Programs include mobile screening pop-ups, barbershop health ambassador programs, diabetes, self-management, boot camps, blood pressure checks through the faith-based partnerships. The committee affirmed the need to address health disparities among Black residents with specific attention to mental health. I, Demel DeWeese, presented ongoing work related to mental health literacy and partnerships with schools. Planned initiatives include parent workshops, public forums, and developing citywide support networks. A virtual 988 forum is being planned for early next year, pending final scheduling. Committee assignments and next steps. Leads were assigned for legislative advocacy, disparity-focused workshops, and mental health outreach coordinations. Blood drive event team was formed and members were encouraged to participate. The committee voted unanimously to schedule the next meeting December 18th, which is the date, December 18th, 2025. Members were asked to submit a 2026 budget proposal to support planning and fundraising efforts. Summary: approval of March 28th, 2026 Red Cross blood drive and associated wellness screening activities, support for the development of mental health literacy initiatives, including virtual 988 forum scheduled for early 2026. Acceptance of committee assignments for legislative advocacy, disparity workshops, and mental health outreach. Approval raised meeting scheduled with the next meeting set for December 18th, 2025. A motion is required to accept all actions listed above for ratification. End of report. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
The blood drive, is it on the 26th or 28th of March?
It will be on where is it? The 28th of March.
At Hopewell, right?
Yes, at Hopewell Baptist Church. I don't have the time here. That's missing. 10 a.m. Thank you.
It should be from 10 to 1. It's 10. Yes. Yeah, well, we may add another hour, but we saying no. But 10 the start time.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you. Y'all have a blessed night on purpose. Thank you.
Now we'll hear from the Madam Chair for our Exxon Committee.
Afternoon, everybody. So first, I am Shantae, the AXO chair. And we first started off with a moment of silence like we do at every meeting. Then we did a roll call and then we went straight into business. And basically our old business, we went into old business. We talked about the schools, how we went into the schools, how many kids that we attained. We talked about how we reached out to the kids and how we are getting them to do the application. And we also talked about the timeline that we did with Nationals, because National has it the way we had to create this timeline for the whole year to get all the way up until the event, the national competition. So we talked about that. We talked about creating a link, the fundraiser link, so you all and everybody else could donate through the link. We discussed the budget because we had to go back in and update the budget because National has a certain way that they want to do everything when it comes to that, to make sure that we make enough money and cover all the what they call the champions that come into the event. So that was the overview. And then the new business was basically we talked about how we're going to implement and make sure that everybody's on the same page, pulling their weight on the committee when it comes to making sure these timelines are done in timely manner. And our next meeting is actually in December that we act with the 21st. We actually gonna cancel that meeting and resume in January. Any questions? Yes.
You explained to some of the new members watching and at the meeting what EXO is.
The easy way to explain EXO, if you have a gift that you can do with, we can achieve. That's my motto of it. It's simple, it's easy. So basically we have up to 32 different categories, from culinary arts to different types of music, dance, poetry, you name it. It's a gift, basically you can do it. And what we do is we bring the kids in, we get them mentors, and we help them get prepared for this. So this year we're doing something different. We actually prepare them to come to local competition, not just national. So that way we can get more kids to score 95 or higher to go to nationals. And when they do score 95 or higher, they do go to nationals, and we do pay for it, but we have to raise the funds. And that's what everybody here and online come and play to help us make sure we reach our goals.
What is the age range of this? Is it K-12 or?
No, I wish, but no, it's actually high school kids, 9th to 12th grade. And we did go to a few schools. We didn't go to as many schools as we liked it to this year, but we did get a healthy amount from each school we went to. That'll be great. Any other questions?
What's the donation?
It's Bitly something. Do you remember that? I have to pull it up. Let me see. You emailed it to me. I'm gonna do better next time, I promise though. National League.
We'll get that to y'all. Promise.
So the donation link is bit.ly, bit.ly /G,
Forward slash.
that ain't forward slash, that's back.
That's a forward. That ain't back.
Forward that way, that back.
This way.
That's that forward.
Round both ways.
/GNAACP, AXO.
ACTSO.
We will have a QR code, and we will post that QR code so you all can scan it as well. Yeah, now we got to get this out there now, okay? I'll let y'all know we do have some fundraisers that's coming out. We're also working with top lady of the extension. I always mess that up. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
The extension.
Distinction.
TLOD.
That's right.
Substation.
We working with them to come up with some stuff. So we working closely. So we got some things in place. And like I said, and of course we have that. And then we have shirts and hats and stuff that you all can purchase as well. And when one more again, we had that lemonade. That'll be it. Thank you.
And again, just to reiterate, EXO is only unfortunately 9th through 12th grade, but it's the easiest way, like Shante said, is our art and STEM competition. Do the local competitions first. The gold medal winners go on to national, although we do have a ceremony where we recognize the bronze and the silvers winners, but the gold winners are the ones we typically sponsor to go compete at the national level. We haven't done EXO in 20 years.
This is our first year.
Last year, but this last school term,
Right.
because it was 2024 and 2025, and now we were 2025, 2026. So that was the first time we've done it in 20 years. This past July when they went to Charlotte. This year they'll be going to Chicago. So even bigger and better tripping. So we try to get the kids prepared, like you said, locally. in preparation to be prepared nationally. I know one of the things I would just advise any of the children watching is to, whatever you did to get you to go this year locally, do that same thing.
That's right.
Because we did have a young lady who killed it. I missed the performance locally. They said she had the folks in tears. And she did a different performance for national. And she should be proper stuff.
The 1 year.
Yeah, 'cause I think she put a lot of pressure on herself, trying to, do something different versus now you go to the national, you can relax, you do it before you do it. So that would be my advice to our students. Whatever got you there, stick with that. Don't, change anything. You may make a few tweaks, but be able to go down there and enjoy yourself. You don't want to be stressing, trying to do a whole new routine and you didn't enjoy that 5-day experience because they do get 5 days. It's 5 days, right? Trying to say they're down there 5 days.
Okay.
So you want to be able to have a good time because they had a lot of good stuff for the kids.
They did. We went to our museum. Our museum, they had like free tickets for us and that. We had like a concert. We got a party in the hub. They had a party just for the kids too. They party hard. And so the parents like, we can't get in. I pick it up for you. They had them kids had a great time. Even to some of the artwork, we're gonna have to post some more of the artwork so y'all can actually see it on the website. I'll send some more stuff to President Powell to post so y'all can actually see it. But those young champions, they are amazing. When I tell you amazing, we're not gonna talk about the speeches that a lot of them gave, or even like one young lady, she's from New York. She drew a picture of herself. I'm gonna find it. I can pass my phone around so y'all can see it. But the way she portrayed herself in the picture, it was amazing. And then there was another young lady. She basically it was her like in an art gallery. And what was her message? Basically, she was seen not to be seen.
Yeah.
It was deep. It was really, really.
That was the one you had the glasses. She had the glasses, right?
Yes.
And if y'all want to see it, some of those videos are on Instagram and I think on TikTok. Right?
Okay.
For those who got TikTok, you ain't got TikTok, you can watch them. So if you want to, you may have to scroll back a little bit, but we got some of those interviews from Axel on social media. All right, so I'm gonna cover a couple of the other committee reports that I have. So I do education, so that's the one in front of me. So the education committee met on November the 24th at 7:30, and they typically meet, and let me pause, because the committee chairs didn't do that. AXO meets every third Sunday of the month at 6:30 p.m. every third Sunday is our AXO committee meeting. Health committee meets every fourth Thursday at 7:30 p.m. 7:30. But this month, because of the holidays, the health committee will be meeting next week's Thursday, which is what is that? The 18th at 7:30. So just wanted to put that out there. Education committee meets every fourth Monday at 7:30. And so their November report, they met over Teams. I began to make that correction at Zoom. Health committee, education committee chairs John Cox, and those that was present at the meeting was committee chair John Cox, myself, President Paul, youth advisor Reese Walker, AXO chair Shantae Stroud, secretary Dominique McCormick. As far as the meeting goes, they did go over SB 4, which was a bill that did not pass in the Georgia legislature last year. Education Chair John Cox noted that myself, President Paul, met with the appropriate legislatures about trying to push that legislation to pass. Part of that legislation was to form a ethics committee for the school district, for all school districts statewide, since there isn't one that exists. For those who may or may not be aware, in Gwinnett County, there is an ethics committee for the Board of Commissioners, for pretty much everybody that's under the county government. So Board of Commissioners, Board of Registration Elections, I'm trying to think of other county positions, judges, the district attorney's office. However, that ethics commission does not govern the school district. That's separate. So our organization submitted some updates to SB4 because we don't want it to be abused to basically govern the school board, because as some of you know, there's a lot of outcry with the removal of the our first African American superintendent earlier this year. And so I met with a couple of legislatures. Our education chair submitted a updated version of SB4 to make it a little bit more equitable than what it was. Because the biggest thing, we didn't want it to be abused, but we wanted it to be something that has some teeth to hold school districts accountable if they're doing things behind closed doors without community input, especially if it's going to cost us almost $1 million as taxpayers. And so that legislation was submitted. Also part of that meeting, they did discuss the upcoming education town hall, which is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, March the 10th. Time is still pending, but I can tell you it's probably gonna be around maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock tentatively, but right now that's when they have it scheduled. And that motion did pass, so now we're gonna be working with partner organizations about partnering with us about bringing people out to come to that town hall. Town hall questions currently being gathered, and it will be according to the report. The committee chair, John Cox, will be reaching out to partner organizations about submitting their questions in the month of December and January in preparation of the town hall. What else we got? Committee chair did go over some of the work sessions that GCP has had in the month of October and November, noting the disparities in the AP participation among Black and Hispanic students, concerns about rising AP enrollment without adequate student preparation. The committee chair also highlighted the school district's SAT average, which was 1,003, which falls below the threshold commonly associated with college readiness. Graduation rates did increase to 85.4% for the class of 2025, although this remains below the statewide average of 87.2. Black students exceeded the district average at 88.8, while Hispanic MLL, which stands for multilanguage learners, and students with disability remain disproportionately affected. The meeting did close with 2 formal actions, which was to submit dates for the town hall, which, like I said, is going to be on March the 10th. And there is no meeting for the education committee this month. They did vote to suspend the December meeting because it fell on, quite naturally, the holiday. And they will meet again on the 4th Monday in January. Will be their next meeting. Any questions about that report? All right, hearing none, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. I'm gonna have to work on our Freedom Fund chair on how he do his reports. So I'm gonna paraphrase this report because it's kind of all over the place. So our Freedom Fund committee last meeting was December the 8th at 7:30 p.m. Those present at that meeting was First Vice President and Freedom Fund Chair Jacques Laurent, Assistant Treasurer Darlene Wilkerson, Committee Member Athenia Rodney, Committee Member Linda Tyler, Committee Member Rita Henderson, Committee Member Marlene Foskey, and myself, President Paul. The committee did meet to go over some of the subcommittees for the Freedom Fund banquet, and I'll kind of go through some of those subcommittees. That's the Sponsorship and Community Partnerships Committee, the Awards Program and Entertainment Committee, Ticketing, Guest Services and Hospitality Committee, Logistics, Venue and Decorations Committee, Marketing, Media and Communications Committee, Auction, Raffles and Fundraising Committee, and the final committee is the Production and Stage Management Committee. So they did go through those different committees and talked about having members sign up. So if you are a member and would like to participate, and I'll pull up the breakdown of each committee. So they did go over the different subcommittees, what they do, and they did narrow down a couple of churches that they're doing, because next year the committee is looking to do 2 event fundraisers. Of course, our annual Freedom Fund banquet, And then they're looking to do a unity breakfast, partnering with, surrounding Black churches within Gwinnett County, or Hispanic church, or Asian churches, Arab churches, within Gwinnett County. They're looking to do a unity breakfast, next year. Tentatively, the unity breakfast is scheduled for sometime in April. The date has not been set yet. Right now, they're looking for a location to host the event. So they're waiting to hear back on that. Darlene Wilkerson is working on the caterers. She's reviewing a set of caterers for the event, as well as tablecloths and decorations for the event. Darlene and Shantae is planning on going to the storage, checking on some of the equipment we already have so they can try to finalize what additional equipment we may need for that event. Let's see. The next committee meeting will be on January the 12th, and they meet every second Monday at 7:30 p.m. So their next meeting is January 12th at 7:30 p.m. That'll be next year. And that ends their report. Let me quickly go over those different subcommittees for those in the room and those watching, so you all can know what those subcommittees do. I also will say, we do need people to be, if you're on EXO committee or would like to be part of EXO committee, we're looking for people to get involved in those subcommittees as well. But since we're on Freedom Fund, I'm gonna talk about them real quick. And those subcommittees. And we have made it clear, anybody that is, somebody asked me this, how much is the discount based on how much I'm involved in the committee? I'm like, no. Anybody that's on the committee will receive, a pretty decent discount, even a little bit more than what the members would get, since you are actually going to be probably working on the day of the event. And we want to reward that. Although it is a fundraiser, we ain't trying to get no free ticket, so everybody got to put a little skin in the game. However, we do want to, reward those who are going to be working throughout the year, as well as day of the event, on the event. And so the reason the email that went out to the members about that, I know some people thought it was like a certain threshold that gave you more discount than how much you volunteered. No. What we're trying to say is, at least what the secretary was trying to articulate is, we don't want you to say you're on the committee, you did that. You get no discount, you ain't doing nothing. We want you to come to the committee prepared to actually, whatever committee you're involved in, to actually help out and work and not, have those other people doing a lot of that work for you. So here's a breakdown of each committee, and I'll go through it really quickly. So for the sponsorship, community partnership, the sponsorship and community partnerships committee, the responsibilities for that committee would be to secure sponsorships from corporations, small businesses, and philanthropies. Conduct outreach to church and faith-based communities for ads, tables, and tickets. Maintain the sponsorship package. So basically, making sure, overseeing the sponsorship package, what it looks like, making sure there's no typos or anything with that. And to coordinate the sponsorship recognition with the awards, programming, and marketing committee. The next committee, okay, here we go. The next committee, the awards, program, and entertainment committee. The responsibility for that committee will be to help in the selection and coordination of the honorees, help with the development of the run of show, script, and speaker sequence, book the entertainment for the artists, youth performers, and presenters, manage EXO's involvement. So we work with our EXO chair to help work with some of the kids who may have went to EXO. Since EXO will be over with, some of those kids may present some of their art or do some type of performance at our banquet. And then oversee any scripts, time cues, and be responsible for the rehearsals. So we definitely want to make sure those who are presenting an award, that this particular committee work with those award presenters, because 5 minutes. Look at that, she actually kept us speaking pretty. She was short. Everybody else was, I told them 5 minutes, and they went over 5 minutes presenting that award. So this committee will be responsible for making sure that people, 5 minutes is actually 5 minutes. You ain't up to taking 20 minutes to say what you got to say and present that award. So if they do that, I'm gonna blame all of y'all on this part of this committee. And again, this is the awards, program, and entertainment committee. The next committee is the Ticketing, Guest Services, and Hospitality Committee. Of course, this committee will be responsible for managing all the tickets, which is done online through Zephy. So one of you all will have access, one or two, that's how many people on the committee will have access to Zephy to monitor the ticket sales, organize the seating charts and any VIP tables, be responsible the day of the event, coordinate with the ushers and greeters to get the people seated, help prepare any gift bags and any sponsored deliverables at the table, and handle any VIP arrival, green room, or honorary hospitality. The Logistics, Venue, and Decorations Committee. This committee will be responsible for overseeing the venue setup, and that includes anything from AV lighting to the table, decoration of the tables, sound, work with the caterer and any rental companies and securities, help manage the decor, backdrops, floors, balloons, signage, coordinate with the photographer on lighting and placement, and ensure on-site vendor load and timeline of execution. The Marketing and Media and Communications Committee will be responsible for both communications based, which is branding, graphics, media coverage, post-event storytelling. Again, some of these things are not going to be part of what you're going to do. You pretty much just going to be reviewing it, but I'll read it anyways. Help design graphics, flyers, social media posts, printed programs. Again, we have an actual team. The organization has a team that handles our graphic design and flyers. Your job on the committee is just going to be to look at it, make sure no typos, that's ugly. If we get a different color scheme, you'll be kind of, whoever many people on that committee will kind of be the point person between people we have that we're contracted with that does that for us and yourself to make sure everything looks right. It's that thing. Manage any press outreach, media alerts, and VIP press lists. Oversee the photographer and videographer timeline. Work on the live stream, although we're not going to live stream the event, but we will have, of course, video and audio, video and camera. Produce any recaps. It could be responsible for, again, working with that same team that I said handles our flyers, working with them to get different highlights of the event that we want to see posted on social media, because they'll post it for us. You all are just, your team would just be responsible for making sure, oh, I like that. That's a good shot of, whoever it was that they were speaking, or that was a good moment when they cried and got their award. Y'all shot me. I ain't know people, y'all appreciate them awards like that. Y'all shot me with those tears and how emotional they got. But I guess people do appreciate when you recognize the good work they're doing. And then, of course, you'll be responsible for maintaining consistent brand of NAACP national requirements. The auction, raffles, and fundraising committee, you're responsible for curating the fund, any raffle, auction, or giveaway items. You'll be responsible for assisting in helping create the QR codes, pledge cards, mobile giving setup, partner with the marketing, that's pretty much it. Track the fundraising total and any post-event reporting. Final committee is the production stage and management committee. Again, be responsible for stage, cues, transition, mic management. So basically be responsible for, to run a, help the assistant with the run the show, making sure that everything is flowing. The right people are coming up according to how we got the run the show laid out. Make sure the lighting is good, mics and sound good. Help assist with the presenters, honorees, and youth in terms of the timing and position and making sure people are in place day of the event. Basically, keeping our program on schedule, because unfortunately that fell on me, and I want to enjoy the event. I don't need to be, hey man, you need to stop talking, come on up here. Y'all gonna be responsible for that. Who's gonna serve on this committee. And those are the 7 subcommittees for the Freedom Fund. Please reach out to our Freedom Fund chair. His email address is Freedom Fund, it's Freedom, F-U-N-D, Freedom Fund, chair @GwinnettNAACP.org. So if you would like to be part of that committee, reach out to him to receive the link to sign up. Or as always, like I tell anybody, the secretary is also always the point of contact. You can email secretary @GwinnettNAACP.org. Ask her for the subcommittee link for AXO if you'd like to be part of it. And that concludes the AXO committee report. Not AXO, Freedom Fund committee report. He's still on my mind. Freedom Fund committee report. Any questions about
What is the date of the?
The date of the banquet, I'm glad you asked. That is a very important question. So the date of our Freedom Fund banquet, so I'll say the Unity Breakfast has not been finalized. We just know the month is gonna be in April. The banquet has already been renewed. We'll be back at the Beaufort Community Center, and that's gonna be on September the 19th at 6 p.m. from 6 to 10.
Thank you.
And that's the third Saturday in September. So September the 19th, 6 o'clock. We've already paid for the venue. We've already got the chef locked in because everybody loved how good the food was. You know, I ain't get a chance to take me no plate home, so I'm still mad about it. You know, yeah, I know. I didn't even know y'all had to go plate. Nobody told me. You might need to get a to-go plate. Make sure we get these to-go plates out. But yeah, September 19th at 7:30 p.m. And those are all the reports that I have. The rest of the committee chairs did not get those reports in, and that's fine. We'll make sure we cover them in our next meeting. So can I get a motion from the floor to accept the reports as read? Anybody can make the motion.
Give a motion to accept the reports as read.
All right, motion given by our Health Committee Chair, Gamel DeWeese, seconded by Ms. Dr. Yvonne Horton. Discussion. All right, all those in favor of accepting those reports, say aye. Any opposed? All right, it's unanimous. All right, so moving on to old business. Can I get a motion from the floor to accept the minutes from our November meeting and suspend the reading of those minutes since that is recorded and out there for anybody to watch whenever they want. Anybody can get that motion. Thank you. Ms. Yvonne makes the motion. Can I get a second? Seconded by Gamel DeWeese. Any discussion about that? All right, all those in favor of accepting the minutes from our November meeting, general meeting, say aye. Any opposed? All right, it is unanimous. All right. And let's close that up. All right, so old business, that's pretty much it for old business. We're gonna just jump straight to new business. So upcoming MLK parade. So we do partner now since we got back started in June of last year. We partnered with the United Ebony Society to conduct the MLK parade. We probably will be looking for volunteers to participate with us in that parade. And I'm trying to pull the dates now. And y'all give me just a quick second. I want to say it's January the 19th. And I know it's going to be at, yeah, I'm right, January 19th. The ceremony starts at 11 a.m. It'll be right here at GJAC. And we'll be marching from here, the Gwinnett Justice Administration Building, to Central Gwinnett High School. And then we'll finish off with the celebration at Central Gwinnett. So for those who are going to be looking to volunteer to be part of the parade, I would advise you probably get here about 9:30. We'll send out a link before the Christmas break, and it'll come from the secretary signing up to volunteer to participate in that event. We already got the MLK banner. I think we bought it last year. I think it got canceled because of the weather. Super cold last year. So I think the contingency this year, if we don't have the parade, we're still going to do the celebration at Central Gwinnett if the parade is canceled. And I'll confirm that when I talk to President Pratt of United Ebony Society. But definitely come out, support. Like I said, it's going to be on January 19th, starting at 11 a.m. right here at GJAC, and then we're going to march to Central Gwinnett. And that parade, parade will start. The marching will start at 12 o'clock, and then everything will close out at Central Gwinnett, and it'll end at everything. The event itself, and that's going to be on January 19th. Any questions about that? Yeah. Go. All right, so reflection on 2025. So first off, I want to thank all of the executive committee members who've been part of this ride this year. We did a lot in a short period of time. For those who don't know our journey, our organization was inactive October of 2023, and the national office did not activate us until June of 2024. And that was just due to the former president being suspended and removed. We didn't have any official officers that the national office recognized that was elected by the members. And so they deemed our branch inactive because the only officer they recognized at the time was the former president we had just removed. I myself was, at that time, wasn't vice president. I had stepped down. Well, I didn't run for re-election, so pretty much I wasn't in the role. I was just a member of the organization. So the rest of the officers they didn't have anything on the books. So saying all that to say, we did a lot over the course of this last year, from restarting AXO, the Freedom Fund banquet. For those, if you haven't seen the pictures or the videos from the banquet, please go on our social media and watch. We haven't done a banquet like that. First of all, we haven't done an actual banquet since 2019. We haven't done one on that scale probably since the person that we named the banquet after, the late Reverend John Stewart, who's a former president from 2003 to 2006. That's probably the last time we've done one that large, that big, where we had over 100 some people. Because I think the one they did in 2019, I think maybe had around 50, 60 people that attended. This one had around 150 plus people. So we almost sold out. I think the goal was to get to 200. I think we were short by like maybe 30, 40 people. So it was a great event. And so we've done a lot. The Get Out the Vote campaign we had in 2024 was the largest we've done ever. We was in 6 counties, knocking on doors. We was in Milledgeville. We had to dodge dogs. Thank God we had to dodge no bullets. But I think that's because they thought we was FBI. And there wasn't no sign on the van saying ACP. So when the van pulled up, everybody just rolled like, hey, we're finna jump out. So I know next year, like, okay, we need to get like a big sign going across the van, the magnetic sign saying NAACP, so people can relax. Yeah. But I enjoyed, meeting our people, wherever they are. It was good time talking to people about the election. So, but it's been a good year. It's been a good ride. Not saying we, challenges withstanding. We went to the convention for the first time. I know since I've been with the organization, I've been with the organization 5 years. Jock's been a little longer than me. And I think he said the last time he'd been to the convention probably was when John Stewart was living. That was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's our first time going to the national convention in 20 plus years. And we was able to take, because again, like I always say, can't just be about the people that's on our executive committee. We did, Dr. Tidwell was not on our ECs, a member like you all. Who went, and like I said, for those members who are actively involved in our committees, that's one of the ways I like to reward you all for participating and being involved. We want to send you to the convention so you can see how the sausage is made. Sometimes they, as Dr. Tidwell would tell you all, it could be, a little rough, If you see how, our chairperson will check you if you're in there talking about something that ain't got nothing to do with what you're out of order. You're the tell people that's out of order a lot. When they doing those resolutions and voting on stuff. So, but overall, we, glad we can give you all that experience. Yeah, Deweese, you went, Shantae was down there for AXO. So, we want to do that. Because I know, we got people on the EC, but like I said, we get six delegates. I typically like to make it half and half. I do know one thing I would like to see is we always send somebody that's been there before, so they can kind of lead the people that are new. So we don't want to be too many new people. Just have 1 or 2 people that, okay, y'all been down there before, y'all know for too much. It's like I can kind of help guide everybody else. So it's been an incredible ride. I definitely want to thank all of you all, members, supporting us, joining, and looking forward, and I'm kind of tying these last 2 bullet points together to 2026. Some of our goals for the next year is going to be One, to build up our youth council. So we are gonna look at our next executive committee meeting, which is on the ninth, I think, July, I think December 19th. It's the third Sunday, whatever that Thursday, December 21st, I think is what it is. Part of our agenda for that meeting with our executive committee, remember, we're gonna look to activate our youth works committee, and their job is gonna be to work closely with our youth chapter in order to help them put together projects to get them involved in the committee, get them involved in the community, help grow our youth council, because although the youth is a separate entity from us, although, so they don't report to you, they have their own youth president. They're gonna be elected a new youth secretary, probably a new youth president, youth treasurer, but we need some adults to kind of work with them to guide them in this work. And so that particular committee will work closely with those youth in terms of doing projects. And right now, they have been tasked by the national office to do some youth projects. I know one of the things we talked about was, for those who watched our last meeting we had, was it Big Brother, Big Sister? Big Brother, Big Sister was here saying they need more male mentors. So we're looking to take some of those young men who do not have mentors to like some of the civil rights museums to help educate them about MLK and all the rich history of organizing and civil rights that's in Atlanta, to try to help, educate them on that, educate them on their history. So we're looking to do that. Hopefully we can do some college tours with some of them, for those of them that are older, that are going to be prepping to go to college and get a high school age in a year or two. So, and they're going to be doing some other events next year, but we're looking to have a committee to help not tell the youth what to do, but kind of guide them and be mentors to them, and then also help grow that youth council. Because, right now we only have one youth advisor. I'm looking for a co-youth advisor to work with him, to work with our youth. And then from there, those two, along with that particular committee made up of adult members, can work with the youth to put projects together to get them involved in the community, teach them about organizing, teach them about the history of the NFCP and what our youth council has done in the past, and get them going, because they have their own separate bank account. Like I said, they're a separate entity from us, although they work in relationship with us because they still represent the NACP brand and here in Gwinnett County. But we do want to get them going and get them involved and get them active. And so one of our missions going into next year is to get them active. The other thing would be AXO. We look into fundraise. So please, like I said, we will resend out subcommittees for AXO. So for those of you who are not on those subcommittees and would like to participate and help in that regard, please sign up to serve on one of those subcommittees for AXO, because we're going to be looking to have all hands on deck. We took 2 kids last year. We're hoping to take at least 5, maybe 6 kids this year. They said 8. Okay, 8. The committee, Madam Chair corrected me. 8 kids. But we're gonna have to fundraise. We have to raise a lot of money to be able to send that many kids, because again, we got to talk about plane tickets and hotel stay. It's for 5 days, and we do want to give them some type of food stipend while they're down there for those 5 days. So we definitely want to get members involved in that way. So that's one of our goals. And then finally is to continue to grow. We want to continue to grow our membership going into the new year, adding more members. So we will try to, the first quarter next year, this came from, we don't have a report from the membership committee, but I will say one of the things that came out of that is to get a date set for membership orientation. So if you was a member that joined, I would say probably anytime from maybe about April, May till January, February, whenever right before they have that membership orientation, we're going to look to do a virtual orientation where we're going to go over the bylaws, we're going to go over the NAACP Constitution, our local bylaws. We're going to talk about the different committees that NAACP has, so we can try to get everybody involved based on, whatever your background is or whatever that you got passion for, get you involved in one of those different committees that we have. And the goal is going to be to try to do those quarterly, at least have each orientations quarterly. As new members come in, we get them involved in the culture of the organization, how we do things, how to behave yourselves, and be nice, because we did have a few little incidents over the last year with people joining and, cutting up a little bit. And I had to have some side conversations about, attitude and being respectful. You don't, knowing how to disagree and disagree in love. So that's what those orientations for, right? To build culture, to build some camaraderie, give people a floor on how to come into a space. Because a lot of times when people join organizations like that, it's their first time being part of something. I know some of you all part of Divine Nine organizations or other organizations like Top Layer Distinction and things like that, NCNW or United Evidence Society, but everybody don't come from those different organizations. Sometimes it's just the first time anybody joined anything. Or Divine Nine organization, but this is always a little bit different. So that's some of our goals going into next year. And the final thing is going to be, we got to turn this vote out. We got to turn this vote out. 2026 to me is as critical as 2024. And I know things didn't go our way in 2024, but we got a chance to make it up in 2026. Like I said, this federal government, and I have no problem saying, I know we're nonpartisan, but since national talk the way they talk, I think I got a little leeway to talk a little bit. Talk a little bit too, since they open up that door. This federal government has been very hostile towards its citizens, especially the ones that look like us. And I'm talking about all of us that's in this room. Black, Asian, we ain't got no about Hispanic here. Hispanic too, they're not here tonight, maybe online watching. They've been very hostile towards people of color. And in order to protect ourselves from this hostile government, you're gonna need a governor that got your back. They say you can't bring no ICE up in here, you can't bring no troops in here. You're gonna need an attorney general that's gonna willing to sue the federal government, say that's against the United States Constitution, that's against Georgia Constitution. We ain't doing that. We're gonna fight this in court. So in my opinion, everything is on the line in 2026 when it comes to these elections. And we need to make sure all our family members are registered. We need to make sure all our family members are getting out to vote. Organizationally, we're probably going to have an even bigger GOTV campaign next year. So we're going to need people who got kids that's high school age. We're going to need them to knock on doors, even middle school age. They know how to work their phone. Yeah, we can get them to knock on some doors. So let's get, we're going to need people knocking on doors. We're going to need people making phone calls, sending out text messages. We're going to need people to be at the polls, making sure ain't nobody getting turned away or getting intimidated. Like I said, bring your lawn chair. You need you to sit out there and make sure everybody is good. Matter of fact, I just met with our guy that handles our merchandise, and he's creating the election protection badges so that when we have you out there poll monitor next year, people can know who you are. They can identify you. We typically give out t-shirts, but it's cold. You got your hoodie on and nobody knows who you represent. So we went back to the badges. And we'll have those to pass out for those who are going to be poll monitored. So, and we pay fairly well. Sometimes, I know a lot of times, most of the time we do stuff volunteer. It's a chance for you to earn a little Christmas money or your kids to earn a little Christmas money during the fall when we're out there doing that. But we're going to need to make sure we can drive this voter turnout. It's going to be critical. If we don't get it right next year, we're going to be in trouble for 2 more years. So we gotta get it right. And I think the momentum is on our side. Economy is not good. I was one of the ones that got bit by it. I was laid off in my job March of this year. It took me 8 months to get back employed. So it's bad. The market is bad. And I'm in tech and I'm competing with everybody that's in the tech field that's worked at Microsoft or came from somewhere like I did, AT&T, Google, all these big companies. So, the economy is bad right now. It's bad. It's only going to look like for the foreseeable future get worse. And so the only way we can kind of get back in the game is we're going to have to, in my opinion, not only, make some hay at the federal level because all the state house seats are up, a third of the Senate seats are up, ISOP's running for re-election. But at the state level, I keep emphasizing the state level. If we can control the state, no matter how crazy they're getting at DC, the state can pass a lot of bills that can circumvent all the nonsense in DC and make sure the people in Georgia are okay. And so, and the thing about the state level is everything is up. Governor's on the ballot. all the state house seats, all the state senate seats, all the major seats from state superintendent to secretary of state to attorney general, which in my opinion is a critical one, as critical as the governor. They're all critical, but I would put it up there with the governor. So all of that's going to be on the line next year. So we're going to have to definitely drive this voter turnout. It's going to be all, and we got Michelle Kane, who's running for state rep next year. So again, it's going to be critical. It's going to be critical. So we definitely going to have to have all hands on deck. So when you see stuff going out, hey, we need some help for voter registration. That's probably the first thing we do in the spring. We're going to hit the high schools and try to sign people up to vote. We'll have training for you, whether it's recorded training or we do live. We'll make sure we send something out, but we're gonna need some help. We got to get this vote turned completely out next year. And I think, like I said, momentum is on our side with how everything's happening, but we got to do our part by talking to our family, talking to our relatives, having those conversations about why it's critical. And we're gonna do our part organizationally. There will be candidate forums next year. We're going to look to do one on the governor's race for the Democratic primary. I know that's a hot one. So we will have an in-person forum. We have not got a date. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be sometime in May, early May, because the election date is May 24th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be somewhere there, maybe that first week in May, with all of the people running, Keisha Lance Bottoms and Derek Jackson and Jason Estes and all those different Micah Thurman, Charles Thurman. I always get his name. Mike. I don't know why. I know it's got to be a Charles Thurman I know from somewhere. But so all of those names, we are going to have Congressional District 13. Am I right, Michelle? Is it 13? With Jasmine Clark and David Scott. So yeah, that's going to be. We're going to have one on the school board. Those elections are going to be coming up and they're going to be critical. Although the candidates have not, finalized who's going to be running, but we will bring attention around that because I know people mad about being redistricted and rezoned. I know a lot of people mad about that. So we will have that. So we're going to do our part. All I asked for those of you watching, those of you here, share content. We post this stuff, we live, share it, like it, retweet it, like it, and then reshare it because, the message needs to get out there. We're going to do civic education forums. We're going to educate people on how the governors work, what their role is. Because I think people think they didn't know the president had, well, he got a lot more power than what he's supposed to have. But still, they didn't know the president had as much impact as we're seeing him have in terms of not only his position, but the people he appoints. That's what people lose sight of. When you elect the president of the United States, or when you elect the governor, you're not only electing him or her, you're electing everybody that comes in those cabinet positions. And when you got dummies like Robert Kennedy who don't believe in anything, when you got the woman chairperson of wrestling, over education.
Right.
This is what you get. Exactly. So you get you elect the clown. I think it's like my girl Kimberly said, you get the circus. So that's what we got right now, and so we can't let that happen at the governor level because I can tell you, I ain't gonna call no names, but there's some clowns running for governor. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And so we just need to make sure that we turn this vote out in 2026. It's gonna be critical. So that's really all I have as we look forward to next year. The floor is open for any discussion, comments before we wrap it up.
Can you give me like the 3 minutes?
Sure, Ms. Cat.
Thank you. As President Paul talking about GOTV, get out the vote. Because my district is Suwannee, township Toulouse, like the southern border is Toulouse Highway 120 and above, and Sugar Hill. Like there's the Ever Creek Road and West Price Road. That's my district. But in my district, there was 43,000 people eligible to vote, but only 30,000 people voted last year. So we missed almost a third of quarter people didn't vote last year because they were discouraged by all those like noises about the presidential election. They just, back it up. I don't want to vote this year. But as Pastor Paul said, because this midterm election was critical because we're going to vote for, we're going to elect Democratic governor like within 20 years. So this year's election is so critical, and then I'm looking forward to it. So thanks to you guys, I want to uplift our community, and then all we have done, like hard work and everything, it's not just me and a candidate, but everybody work together. So we are talking about Blue Wave. I want to say Denami. Yeah. So it was yesterday. Gwinnett County, and there's an important county is Athens Clarke County, and he flipped the seat. His name is Eric Isler, and he flipped the seat. The seat was a very red district, but it was very encouraged. So we are picking up those seats like every election cycle, 26, 28, and 2030, and we build the 80, 91 seats. We will be majority. So this is the most possible pathway to build the majority, especially state house, like a representative, everybody. So we are on the way to build the Democratic majority, especially for state house. I'm one of the most flippable next year. And thanks to you and your supports and everybody, I ran the first closest race in entire state and was within 621 votes. So 600 votes. So we can make it. So I'm working very hard, and I really launched my campaign in June. And been canvassing, call time 2 hours every day, because we do the fundraising to run the campaign. So, the Clinton said in 1992, the year that I immigrated to Georgia, he said, "Is the economy stupid?" Right? It was his slogan. So I think it came back. It's all about economy, right? So my priority is just well-being of the people living in Georgia. So healthcare for all. And I want to support the young parents with supporting with the universal child care. And housing stability and like equity in housing. So I want to uplift the homeowner as well as renters. So just few handful equity company owns this apartment complex. You hear that the rate hikes in every year. So I need to support the renters as well as homeowners because we are very having squeeze in paying all property taxes and house insurance and everything. The living cost is too high to pay for it. And the strong public schools, including higher education. So we didn't even realize Trump, he signed something student loan tax by that so-called beautiful act. So 575,000 for undergrad, 10,000 for graduate, and 200,000 for a special schools like law and medicine. They not lower the tuition. They stripping away the opportunity for especially for young generation because the education is the pathway for better life. They shut down. They print out the letter. So the strong public schools, including higher education, and me myself, I'm the first generation Korean American, so immigrated to Georgia in 1992. I came with the American dream, pursue the higher education, build a middle class life. But it's getting harder. That American dream is slipping away. So look at our children's generation. They came back after they graduate to college because they cannot find a job. They cannot pay the bill. So I want to restore the American dream we used to have. And the immigration, the death status is just, very harder and harder, especially like, the colored people like me in the Hispanic community, Asian community as well. So one of my position is protecting immigrant communities as well. And then, in state level, we can do this. So that's my position, just the financial well-being of the all people living in Georgia is my priority. So I need to be elected, and then I need your vote. I know, some of you are not living in my district, because my district, like a Suwannee, like let's say 10 miles from here, but you have so many friends and family living in Suwannee, Sugar Hill, and Duluth. Tell them, Michelle King running again to flip the seat, and this is the year we can do this, and we can make it happen. Thank you very much.
Gotta put in a disclosure. The NAACP does not in any way endorse Ms. Michelle King. But we did let her come up and speak. Let us speak to the community at large. We do not endorse her because we are we did have the Republican candidate running in the Republican primary. I will be letting them come up and speak as well. Or because I don't know who you even running against primary.
Between you and me, like, he was my campaign manager.
Okay.
Yeah, his name is Shadley Abraham.
Okay.
Like, he was campaign manager on my campaign, like, July, August, and September, but he suddenly decided to run as president. Yeah, so.
Yeah. And just for clarification, the secretary said, I just copied and pasted your information. So if it wasn't clear about how much work that you had to do on the subcommittee.
We have to go through the qualification second week in March.
Okay.
To decide your name to be on the ballot.
Right.
So we have to wait until September for the qualification.
Okay. So for those who want clarity, what Ms. Kane just stated, her and her opponent both got to qualify in March. So we'll know officially who's going to be running in the primary because it's the very first day in March. And that's for everything, really. For all the elections that's for May, for the school board, judicial elections, because those elections is coming up, which is your judges, school board, and anybody running the primary for the Democrat or Republican Party, those people have to declare whether they're running or not in March. So probably either our March or April meeting, we should know who's all going to be on the ballot that's going to be running in May. And for clarity, like I said about the Freedom Fund Subcommittee, Secretary said she didn't make no edits to what I sent her. That was my word. So if it wasn't clear, that was on me. And not her. She wanted me to make that clear about how much work you had to do to be involved. But as I stated, because I did have one person reach out to me and say, how much work I got to do? I'm like, no, it's not like it's not a performance-based thing. We just want to make sure that you actually involved in order to get that discount to the banquet. And that was the clarity. But thank you, Dominique, for reaching out to me, making sure that because she don't want to take the L for that. So that being said, any further discussion of anybody else got anything before we wrap up? If not, our next general meeting will take place January of 2026. That will be on the 8th, January the 8th. So that'll be a few days after my birthday on that Monday. We will be voting at our next executive committee meeting to suspend all operations effective December 22nd. So do call us, but if the EC approves, the phone gonna go to voicemail and we'll restart our operations January the 6th, which is on that Tuesday, January the 6th. And this is just to give us EC members a little bit of a break. Everybody's been working hard all year. National always takes vacations and take offs because they're paid staff. But for those who are not familiar with NAACP culture, how it operates, all of us are volunteers from the local level all the way up to the state. So even our state president is a volunteer, state treasurer, state secretary, all of them are volunteers for the organization. The only paid people are at the national level. That's when you get to our people that pay. So they take their time off, take their time away. And I feel like, for as hard as we've worked over the last year with getting EXO, the Freedom Fund Bank, all the work that went into that, our GOTV campaign in 2024, even the one we had in 2025 for the municipal, was a lot of work. And thank for all the people that participated, that knocked on doors, that poll monitored, that made the phone calls this year and last and in 2024. for the work that, you all have done. You know, we get a little bit of a break so everybody can breathe, because like I said, next year we're gonna be busy. We have all these new committees, like the health committee and some of the free AXO and Freedom Fund, and it's just gonna be busy on top of like I said, a big, huge get out the vote campaign, which probably gonna, you know, knowing nationally, gonna probably ask us to cover. We had 6 counties last time, we may get asked to cover 8 or 10, unfortunately, next year, or fortunately. But it's gonna be a lot of work, and, you know, try to give everybody a break, including myself, some time to step away and recharge, and then come back next year ready to go. So that being said, meeting is adjourned. Y'all have a great night for those who are watching online, and thank y'all for joining.